JD just asked how I was feeling. I feel a lot of nerves when I go out and be in new situations because I'm a very high introvert, but it feels really great because I get to go with that guy. Arrived at the hotel. We just got back from it's okay, babe. It's a vlog. It's all good. So we got back from Vayner offices. We had an opportunity to hang out with Vive and had a Q&A session. We celebrated Janelle's birthday. We are gonna change and then we're gonna go to a darty. What's a darty? It's a day party. I didn't know what it was either. That is crypto.com arena. That's where the event is gonna be. And then a lot of events at LA Live as well.
We're at the Meta Party. We're gonna be doing reels here.
We left in such a rush today that we actually didn't take time to narrate what I was going to do. So JD and I woke up, we got ready, we ran downstairs. We're literally staying at the hotel right next to the Peacock Theater, Crypto Arena, where the event is happening. We grabbed some coffee. Gary gave a phenomenal keynote. It was so exciting to see the progress that he's made. He started this 4 years ago, and he was talking about how he knew how long it was going to take to build. It felt so good to watch somebody with so much self-awareness, and he's literally documenting how long it's taking him to build the next thing. For me, it was like a shot in the arm. I need to be incredibly patient with the thing that we're building. Then we saw Will Gadara. Now, shout out to Will. He was a guest on my podcast this year. If you're wondering what's going on, we came back to the hotel during a very small break. We needed some coffee. I needed to make sure that when I go to the conferences, I'm eating and fueling very well. I am eating egg whites. Not ideal. I'm eating egg whites from the hotel cafe, and then I always make sure that I have snacks. So I have raw almonds carrying around in my purse. So I usually don't eat during my days until 11:30. It's around 11 o'clock. We do intermittent fasting. So came back, had a quick bite to eat, make sure I'm fueling, then go back. Now here's the thing about Will Gadara. Will is a phenomenal speaker, and I was listening to Will for the second time. He did my podcast, and this time I had the ability to watch and see how he was composing himself as a public speaker. That was very different than how he was on my podcast, and so I was taking notes about his speaking posture, about his cadence. During his presentation, somebody yelled from the crowd and said, "Hey, what restaurant are you talking about?" And he said, "I'm sorry, excuse me?" And the guy said, "What restaurant are you talking about?" And Will said, 11 Madison West. Welcome. He literally just was like, welcome to the conversation that I've been having for the last 25 minutes. And he handled it so well, so professionally. Inside of Peacock Theater, there are people who are trading cards. There are people here for NFTs. There are people here for business. There are people here for culture. And so to give a keynote presentation where the audience is so diverse, every color, every age, there are parents there with their kids, there are grandmas, there are young, really cool people that are here. And for Will to be able to give a keynote that transcends all of that was really powerful. And I think that I walked away learning what he was doing and how I might apply that when I am public speaking. Okay, so now we're back here in the hotel room. I'm gonna eat before I go back down. But one of the things that I thought was really cool is what they're doing here with LA Live is they have a main stage and they have 3 or 4 other stages in that area. So there's a lot of time to go out and be part of the installations. So what is on my schedule? So I downloaded the VeeCon app. I'm a scheduler. I need to know what I'm doing. And so I'm gonna be going into a creator economy panel. I also am gonna be going into a conversation about bridging the gap between C-suite and the consumer. Jay Shetty is gonna be moderating Bob Pittman, and Bob is the CEO of iHeartMedia. And so I wanna know from his perspective, what is going on. Those are the two that I'm the most excited for. And then there's also gonna be talking about reinventing and thrive, legacy brands in the 21st century. I don't have a legacy brand right now. I wonder, would I be able to create a legacy brand? And so I wanna know from their perspective, as a retrospective where I'm at early in my career, how I might leverage those. So those are the three things that I'll be doing today. After, we're gonna be going to Ocean, ooh la la, in Beverly Hills for a Vive dinner. Gary will be passing by for a little bit. He's doing a ton of things while he's here. Oh, here's a little bit of a story. I didn't think I was gonna share this because there's really nothing that happened, except for the fact, yesterday, as I was leaving the Meta dinner, there was a lot of people there. It's on a rooftop. There's a lot of people talking, and I'm very new. The only people I know at this party are the people that I know with Vive. I spent 99% talking to people from Vive because I didn't know how to jump into other conversations. These were all the sponsors like Don Julio and Meta and all these other organizations. And so I didn't know how to jump into conversations. And so I decided to bounce out a little bit early. I wanted to FaceTime Luna. So I leave the event, and in a corner, I see a booth, and I look and I see it at the corner of my eye, and I was like, oh, that's Gary Vaynerchuk. My brain processes, but then my face is like stank face. I'm like, that's Gary Vaynerchuk. And he looks up at that exact moment, and our eyes meet, and I kind of freak out because I'm just like, okay, pretend you didn't see him. Do you look? Like, what's gonna happen? Because he probably doesn't know you. And our eyes meet, and he goes like this, hey, and he stands up. He's like, hi, Jasmine. And he comes in for a hug. Hold on. He hugged. And Hannah, his chief of staff, was there. And I was like, Hannah, so good to see you. I gave her a quick hug. I'm like, maybe I'm more excited to see you, Hannah, than I am Gary, because Hannah is brilliant and she has helped me so much with giving me insights. So I said goodbye. I go home. JD's here at the hotel. And I said, I saw Gary tonight. I know that I went to the Meta dinner to connect with people from Vive, but I know that I was just supposed to be in the room. I was to be uncomfortable, I was to meet people, I was to have conversations, and as a little bit of like a God wink, I saw Gary at the end of the night, and I thought that was very cool. And so today, I'm looking forward to dinner. JD, he's leaving a little bit early. Our daughter, Luna, is having a little bit of a hard time staying away from us. So he's gonna go pick her up at grandma's early, and then I'll take an Uber home. So he'll miss dinner, but tonight, I get to hug her and I get to kiss her and I just get to like smush her all of her goodness. Unfortunately, I will be missing the event tomorrow, but I decided for mental health and calibration that we'll be spending Sunday as a family. Myself, JD, and Luna will go to breakfast, we'll go to church, maybe we'll go to the beach and just chill. Okay, I'll be filling you in with other things as they progress. Last night was truly amazing. We had a phenomenal dinner at Catch and they served champagne, and I was able to walk through and just experience the moment for what it was. I actually took photos under the beautiful floral archway, and I just let myself have fun with that moment. It was a beautiful way to culminate, and I had some really great conversations around content creation, around franchising, and more than anything, those common struggles that we have as business owners. And the whole point of it is that in the commonalities, we normalize what we think are our mistakes. And we normalize what it means to build in public. And we normalize what it feels like to celebrate at the peaks and then also commiserate in the valleys. And so when you realize that it's more normal than not, you have more courage to continue growing because you're not an anomaly. You're doing what other people have done, and the more success they found, the more times they had to fall and get back up. Let's give it up for my favorite part of the night. Gary Vaynerchuk appeared and we had a great conversation. Unexpectedly, Andrea gets up and she says, Gary, do you have time to do a little bit of Q&A? And then everybody like looks around and they're surprised. Like, Gary's gonna do Q&A, this poor guy, he's exhausted. And he's like, yeah, I'll take a couple questions. And none of us were prepared for that. We all kind of just like look around and say, who's going to ask him the question first? And so I raised my hand and I said, I don't have a question. But what I want to say is thank you. Thank you for pushing through. Thank you for speaking your truth. And I explained that when I saw him give his opening keynote, he showed the variations and the iterations of his project called VeeFriends. And he talked about how hard the journey was. And he talked about what people say online and what they don't say online. And he talked about the ups and downs. And he's there standing on a stage talking and admitting that the process will never just be the process. It's always about iteration and always about growing. And so I said, thank you for talking about that. It made me feel so proud to see year after year after year the changes that he was making and the conversations that he was having, and to show what it means to persevere, to continue moving forward, to, despite anybody's belief or disbelief, to still move forward and believe that the thing you've been called to do must be fulfilled. And he said, you know, Jasmine, what you heard was perseverance. But what other people heard was mixed messaging. So he went on then to explain that builders will watch and see another builder and have respect for the perseverance. But people who are not builders, people who are sitting on the sidelines, people who are sitting and having an opinion about what it is you do, they'll look at that and they'll say, oh, there was a lack of vision. You're not about the project anymore. You've given up. There's no hope. He had said that morning after the keynote, he went into Discord, which is just like a community of people who are really talking about his Web3 projects, which is what VeeFriends are. And they were talking about how he's given up on the project and how it's not what they had expected and where's the vision. And he said those people had that opinion, but those people aren't builders. And he says the people in the room who are a builder will have respect and deep honor for the journey and for the perseverance. And man, that whole thing felt like a full circle to me, because what I thought and what I felt and what I saw was so incredible. It was so admirable. It lit me up and it inspired me. And this same conversation pissed somebody else off, having had an opinion. And I thought to myself, listen, you do or you do not do. People are gonna have opinions. You succeed, well, you didn't succeed enough. You say something, you didn't say it as good as you should have. And watching him live and straddle the line of the cheering and the jeering made me say, this is the game. And you have somebody in my mind who has so much more success and who's further along in his career and journey. And he's saying that the cheering and the jeering only increases over time. And you have to push both of those things out of the way. That's right, Gary Bear. That's right. So let's talk about you. How can you take what I've learned or what Gary said and apply it to whatever it is you're building? I'm hoping by now the answer is very straightforward. I'm hoping that what you hear and what you saw is that people will have an opinion if you do or you don't do. And people will say things if you do or you don't do. And people who are not even a paying customer or have never given you $1 in your life will have an opinion about how you show up and what you say and what you do and what you sell. But the key here is to focus on the people who see what it is you're doing, is to focus on the people who find value in what it is you're creating. And over time, people will start to begin to see how you are slowly stacking small success after small success until one day they look at that and say, oh my, he's an overnight success. She's an overnight success. Really? Or were you just not paying attention to the small successes that stacked up along the way? Because as you build, and what I want you to apply and remember, because this is exactly what I'm telling myself, in the beginning, you will be misunderstood. And then you will be hated. And then you will be applauded. And then you will be revered. Every history book that I have ever read followed this pattern. People will not get you. They won't understand you. You will be misunderstood. And then, because you decide to march to the beat of your own dang drum and do things your way, people are going to hate you because you're not within the status quo. You're not doing things the way that things are normally done. You're not rocking the boat. So then be like, that person's too noisy. That person's doing it the wrong way. Okay. And then what happens? You stuck out. You did something big and magical. You're different. So then you're applauded. And after you've been applauded for changing the way things are done or beating the odds, you will then be revered. Many of us don't make it past the beginning part where people have an opinion about what it is we do. Many of us, when we feel misunderstood and people have opinions, we stop. And I'm just here making this as a reminder to myself and to you because you're here. It's okay to be misunderstood. In fact, the minute we're misunderstood and we're okay with it is the minute we're on the success path. If you enjoy watching these vlogs, if you like joining us behind the scenes, let me know in the comments. It's super helpful to get your feedback. And if there's ways that I can get better, tell me in the comments. You don't have to be mean. You could just be honest and be like, Jasmine, we need more of this. We need less of that. Great. I am here to serve. Thank you guys for being here.